Hi, Pinkies. So I just finished Phasma by Delilah S. Dawson. It's an interesting book. Lots of people have recommended it to me because they say, I know you don't like the sequels, but a lot of the material around the sequels, like the Phasma novel, they really build up the sequels and they make it something that you can like. And I was really excited for it. I thought, okay, well, I haven't read them, so maybe they're right. They're really wrong. Okay, that book is pretty good. It's not bad, I will say. As you're going through it, so I've heard everybody hype this book up. One of the best Star Wars books, other than like the Thrawn trilogy and some of these other ones that everybody always recommends. The Phasma book, the Phasma book, the Phasma book. Phasma's a real badass when you take her out of the sequels and you really give her some backstory, right? Wrong. Wrong again. Delilah S. Dawson had this character that she had free reign over. There's 3 movies and none of them develop Phasma in any way. So you have free reign to create whatever backstory you want for this character, this nothing character who is not badass in the slightest. She just has a cool set of armor. So you can do whatever you want. You can make her like the most cold-blooded killer ever. You can do whatever you want. She's still going to be a dumb character because of those movies. But that's not even my problem with the book. The book itself is overrated. Super overrated. People talk about this book like it's amazing, like she's the best villain since Darth Vader. She's not. This book spends tons of time on one of the least interesting planets in the entire galaxy that I've ever seen. It spends all of its time on Parnassus, which is this planet that Phasma grew up on. And as she goes along, she betrays her family. We're revealed all of this information through an interrogation scene with a rebel officer and this other random stormtrooper who we're supposed to be attached to, but I'm really not. This one red trooper is really worried that Phasma is going to take over his job. He's trying to get information on Phasma that would make the First Order throw her out, not like her anymore, because he gets a bad vibe from her and he doesn't want her to take over his duties. Okay, so he's trying to get information out of this rebel, and as he digs deeper and deeper and deeper, she just tells this meandering story about Phasma and how she's like a cold-blooded killer, like I said, when she was really young. Spoilers, obviously. You're not a child. You know that there's going to be spoilers. Phasma, as a kid, disables her brother, stabs him in the leg, and basically sells out her whole family and even consumes their nutrients. They have this weird thing that harvests the nutrients of a person so that they can live longer because it's like a desert or something. She sells out her entire tribe and joins another tribe, and then when the First Order comes to her planet, again she sells out her tribe and her entire planet gets blown up. And all of this stuff sounds pretty badass, right? Sounds like a pretty interesting character, a really brutal story where Star Wars usually isn't pretty brutal. Really interesting, right? Wrong. I listened to the audiobook version, which has John Williams music scoring it. It's pretty decent. But Delilah S. Dawson takes these concepts. Another one that I had always heard about is that Phasma and Hux teamed up to kill Hux's father. What a cool idea, right? Betrayal. Father versus son. Ooh, drama. What? The First Order is built on so much backstabbing. I wonder if Hux and Phasma are gonna backstab Kylo. I wonder if there's so many questions. The way that they handle it in the book is like an offhanded comment, basically. Obviously it's not that little. There's a big build up to it, and it's this big reveal, and the stormtrooper can hardly believe what's happening. But we don't get any interpersonal conflict between the father and the son, Hux. We don't get any of that. We don't get Phasma's reasons for wanting to kill him. We get assumptions from the rebel and assumptions from the stormtrooper of why this could have happened. That's not what I wanted. I mean, listen, I'm hypercritical of stuff, okay? That's just who I am. I'm hypercritical of stuff. But this book is overrated as fuck. Overrated as fuck. People will say this is one of those that is not technically canon anymore, but you should still read it because it's a good book. Wrong. It's not that good. I think your imagination will do a better job of telling the story for you if you know just the idea that Hux's dad was killed by Hux and Phasma, and let your imagination fill in the gaps. These are characters that I didn't care about before, but the story I created in my head just from hearing somebody mention that in a theory video, that was better than this whole story. What? Obviously, books are subjective because how you read your book can affect the timing and the dramaticness of how you're reading it. All of these things are affected by how you're reading it, but the audiobook basically does that experience for you. And the audiobook, it's just not that good. It's just not that good. And the other thing that made me mad, sorry I'm going out. No, I'm not sorry. Because the other thing is that this clone guy, this stormtrooper, right? He's the main trainer of these kids. And this whole time, he's always talking about how big of a connection he's got to the kids. Oh, I love the kids. Oh, she's training them to be murderers. I'm just training them to be good soldiers. He loves the kids. Oh, he loves the kid. But we never get any relationship with him and the kids. Like, we hear kids saying hi to him, and he salutes them. We see him tell another officer, like, don't put these two kids together, but we never see him connecting with any of the kids. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. The other one is the whole time they're building up this conflict between Phasma and this other trooper, and he doesn't want her to replace him, and she's got a rivalry with him too because he was Brindle Hux, the father of Hux. He was the favorite of him before Phasma came around, so she has this rivalry, and I was hoping the entire time reading and listening to it, I was like, oh, I can't wait for the end of it where Phasma finally gets to be brutal, where Phasma finally gets to kill this character that we've become somehow attached to throughout the story. No, she doesn't. She gets to have a fight scene with him, but then after that, this rebel lady that we've been connecting with just saves him, and it's even set up for the death of this rando guy, because at the end, when she saves him, they're going to Parnassus, which is Phasma's planet, right? When Phasma is beating up this guy and he's almost dead, she says, where'd you get all this information? And he says, Parnassus. And she goes, oh, well, I guess I gotta go back there and kill whatever witnesses are left. So it's even set up that, oh, these people are going to Parnassus, she's gonna go to Parnassus, she's gonna kill them both. And I like ambiguous endings, but that's not ambiguous. That's an unfinished story. Sorry, I hated it. That's wrong. I didn't hate it. I thought the narration was good. I think a lot of the storytelling was pretty alright. The ideas were there. World building was fine. Don't read it. Sorry. Bye, Pinkies.